Someone's been stalking in my garden. Two pink flamingos, a whole family of plaster skunks. Joe Burton's dad loves those tacky lawn ornaments. But then, he brings home two ugly lawn gnomes. And that's when the trouble starts. Late at night, when everyone's asleep, someone's creeping in the garden, whispering nasty things, smashing melons, squashing tomatoes. No way two dumb old lawn ornaments could be causing all the trouble. Is there?
Welcome back to Goosebumps Overviews, the show where we talk about Goosebump books and judge them on their merit. Tonight's episode is book number 34, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. Let's get into it. So, right before I talk about the cover, a little titling conundrum. Why is it called Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes? They're not really getting revenge on anything, really. They're just causing mischief. Yeah, so I have a few theories, but nothing's really concrete. So I guess it's better than Attack of the Lawn Gnomes. But yeah, kind of makes me think it's a sequel. A little confusing here. All right, let's talk about the cover, and it is not scary per se. I do like the detail in this because, like I've said with the last book, I like when it's an establishing shot, of the area we're going to be in. And this book takes place in a backyard, and this is a backyard. I like the little details of the deer and the flamingos. Those are all things that are in this book. Not the baseball. There's baseball there. That's cool. Just kind of your average cover, really. I like the lawn gnomes, though. It really says a lot about their character, how one of them seems, real swagger, and the other one's real, I don't know, he doesn't even have pupils. That one's kind of creepy, I guess. This story stars Joe. Joe and his sister Mindy. Now, Joe's a bit of a dick, but he's a bit of a lovable dick. Did I just say lovable dick? Remove that. Joe's a bit of an asshole, but he's a likable asshole, I guess. Mindy's kind of a bitch, and there's very little to like about her. But who am I to judge? Now, the thing about this story is that you need to understand is that there's a bit of a feud going on. You see, Joe's parents and their neighbors are kind of in a gardening feud. You see, they're both extreme garden enthusiasts, and that is mentioned through every part of this book. But they're two different types of gardening enthusiasts. First of all, we have Mr. McCall, the neighbor. He's a retired Army sergeant. Everything is organized, everything is pristine, and real nice. I guess they make the point that he's growing kielbasa melons. I don't really know what those are, but yeah, he is really, really serious about his garden. Lost one year, flipped out, and got a doomsday prepper amount of gardening soil the next day. And then on the other hand, we have Joe's parents, Jeffrey and Marion, I guess. Jeffrey, the dad, is the one who's really focused on the gardening, and he takes a more goofy approach. Lawn ornaments everywhere, nothing is really organized, and the daughter, Mindy, really hates it because nothing is organized. OCD much? Then there's Joe's dog, who likes to get into mischief by going into McCall's garden, digging up some stuff, causing some problems, nothing too serious. But then Joe's dad gets some new lawn ornaments. The two ugliest lawn gnomes the world has ever seen, which, ironically, they name Hap and Chip. Yeah, Chip. Because one looks happy and the other one has a chipped tooth or something. I don't know. But yeah, they're really ugly and out of place, as seen by the cover. A pretty good representation of the gnomes in this book. So nothing really spooky happens until late one night when the gnomes disappear, cause mischief, and then the family gets blamed, or more importantly, the dog and Joe. Of course, Joe doesn't really start noticing that the gnomes are doing this until he finds, clues. He doesn't automatically assume it's the gnomes, which, that's logical. First, he finds a melon seed that's lodged in one of the gnomes' teeth, right after the neighbor's kielbasa melons are smashed. And then he finds paint on the gnome's hands, right after somebody painted all over the melons. And then they have white paint all over them at one point when they painted Mr. McCall's car all white. So yeah, these gnomes are really terrible at covering their tracks. But hey, who's gonna believe a garden gnome did all this shit? I guess this is their revenge on society for making them stand in one place. I mean, okay, I guess that can be counted as revenge. I don't know. I'd be pretty pissed if I had to stand in the same place every single day. But yeah, we got similar Goosebumps formula here. Joe tries to convince people that the gnomes are responsible. Nobody believes him, yada yada yada. Then we get to the second half. People realize the gnomes are causing danger. The end. Dark ending, I guess. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this book. It's really quite boring. We know what the problem is. We don't know why. We get revealed why. It's kind of a meh. It's resolved kind of stupidly and rushed, like all Goosebump books. And then there's the ending, which just... I guess it's just kind of an open ending, really. I don't really have a problem with this ending. It doesn't leave more questions. It's just kind of a meh. I'm glad it's over. So, eventually, Joe and his friend Moose, who happens to be Mr. McCall's son. I don't know how these guys became friends. Moose, oh my god. Moose doesn't really play too much of a part in this story, except for being, the muscle, I guess. It kind of reminds me of, Moose from Jughead. I keep picturing that character every time I hear his name in this.
Stay out of Riverdale.
Joe and Moose decide to, stake out the garden, wait for the lawn gnomes to get up, and then they do, and I guess they try capturing them, fail horribly. The gnomes end up capturing the sister, Mindy, before revealing that
that is our nature. We cause mischief everywhere we go. Yabba-dabba-doo-doo-doo, we are mischief elves. Yabba-doo.
And I guess they do this because they were forced to be slaves and have to stand in place. I don't really get that, because their land was taken from them or something. They had mines and stuff. I guess they were just living like the dwarves from Snow White. I don't know, it's all kind of weird. And they convince the kids that they'll stop causing mischief if they release their 6 friends still trapped in the store where they were purchased from. They do this, it's a trap. The gnomes just want to torture the kids. Like, they're all like,
Dribble, dribble, trampoline, tug of war. Woo.
Don't ask me how gnomes are gonna do all that stuff. I mean, why do they want to tickle them? That's kind of weird. Is that a form of torture in gnome land? I don't get it. How does this all get resolved? Doesn't really get explained, but by Joe. Joe has this dog whistle on him. He blows on that, and the gnomes, they turn back into plaster. So that's how it gets resolved. It's kind of stupid. I don't get... How does that work exactly? What releases them from their trance? All we know is that they just wake up at night. So why do dog whistles revert them back to their plaster stage? That doesn't make any sense. And the ending, I guess Joe's dad is just like, oh, somebody stole the gnomes. Oh no. And to recompense for this, he buys a giant plaster gorilla. And the ending, Joe's like, you better not cause any mischief. And then the gorilla winks at him. The end. So yeah, this is kind of a silly story. There's no retardation in it like a few books. Well, I guess there is a little bit of retardation. where Joe keeps thinking, oh, I'm gonna convince my parents that the lawn gnomes are moving. Yeah, these guys aren't buying shit. You're just digging yourself deeper and deeper into this. And a lot of his jokes that he tells kind of backfires on him. But, you know, that's I can excuse a little bit of that. This book, I think they did well for the premise, but the premise on its own just doesn't really interest me that much. And the ending's rushed like always, so it's just kind of it's okay, I guess. So I'm gonna have to give this book a 5 out of 10. I hate to have to keep giving these books such a mess score, but so many of them are just kind of I'm over it, you know? Alright guys, that's gonna do it for my review on Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for book number 35, Shocker, Shock Street. Have a scary